Dan, I did it again.
Did what again?
I bought another motorcycle.
That's not a motorcycle, that's some wheels and a tank. That's a body, okay, I guess that's some of a motorcycle.
This isn't just any motorcycle, Dan. This is the workhorse of the off-road world. A Honda XR 250. Remember that KLR diesel bike we were trying to send our troops into combat with? And if a mouse breathed on it wrong, it wouldn't start and act all weird? This bike will run forever.
It did run until somebody took it apart.
I think if I was designing a bike for the military, I would have taken an XR 650, spray painted it green and called it a day.
That good, huh?
They are that good. Look at that. Oh, whoa, whoa, don't want them falling out. Oh, geez, look at this. Look at these fork caps. It's like somebody went at them with a dull beaver. Holy moly. Bike parts stacked everywhere.
This bike is certainly in a condition.
Fantastic, isn't it? For all you Ridgeline haters out there. Look at that. You can fit almost a whole motorcycle back here.
All right, let's get it out.
Hey, look, Dan. It's bike in a box.
It's a bike, okay.
Dan.
Very nice.
Dan, how do you not like bike in a box?
Everybody loves bike in a box.
Oh, I love bike in a box.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. I got it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is go through and take an inventory of what we have, check some things out, unpack the box, start a parts list, and get some things headed this way. So I sorted through the little bits and I separated out the stuff that I don't want to lose and specialty things, and then random hardware that I just figure out where it goes when I need it. So I'm going to bag those up and I'm going to continue on my parts list. Okay, I figured out why this bike was parked. Here it is. Kickstart shaft was broken. Oh, that kind of reminds me. I didn't see a Kickstarter. Probably sitting in a barn somewhere with the other half of the shaft still in it. Add that to the list. Okay, so this isn't good. They ran it without chain slider that wraps around the swing arm, and look what the chain did. It just ate away at the swing arm here. That is not good. Looks like it even went as far as, look, yeah, took chunks out of there. Oh, shucks. Okay, well, we'll have to get those bearings pulled out and cleaned up and see what we can do. Okay, so I went through everything and I have my parts list pretty much put together. Sure, there's still a few things I'm gonna have to add as we go. Next step is gonna be cleaning up a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna clean up this frame, send it out to get powder coated. I haven't done that yet. Generally, I just clean up the frames here in the shop and paint them. But this one here, I wanna try something a little different. So I need to get this here ready to send out. What they're gonna do is actually put it in an oven and they bake it at like 800 degrees or something. Takes off all the old powder coat, and then it's ready for the new powder. Along with getting that cleaned up, I gotta start getting the swing arm cleaned up. And like I said, we have a bit of an issue here. This is where the chain was rubbing. See, this chain guide is actually supposed to wrap around and come to the bottom side of the swing arm. That's not good. So we're gonna have to figure out how to address that, get this all cleaned up, kind of evaluate what we have. Probably gonna have to weld it up, machine it out, or see what a replacement cost. That's a bummer. Gonna get the engine cleaned up. We got our new shaft. Get this table cleaned up a little bit so we have room to work.
So you have room to put the next restoration bike that you're gonna start?
Yep. This is like almost full of gas.
How old do you think that gas is?
Oh man, old, at least a couple weeks. Okay, how do we wanna take these off? This bike is pretty much already disassembled.
Oh, so they did have to work for you.
Yeah. This is the oil cooler. The XR 250Rs were oil cooled. Now we're gonna pull off the kickstand, the brake pedal, the skid plate, and I'm gonna pull off the serial tag, and I'm gonna pull out the steering head bearing races before this gets sent. All right, so one of the things I'm not super thrilled with here is this. This is all, I believe, not genuine. But we're gonna pull the kickstand off and leave this on. It'll get cleaned up once it's painted. It'll blend kind of right in. That's tight. Oy, oy, oy.
Ah, the classic. Put fire on it trick.
Works every time. See if that was enough. Just takes a little heat sometimes.
Killing it with fire. #1 solution for stuck motorcycle body parts and witches.
That escalated quickly. Let's pull this brake off. Oh boy, that's not good. So the frames on these bikes were originally white, and I gotta say, as far as good looking motorcycles go, these red, white, and blue XRs are gorgeous. There we go. Nothing a little heat and penetrating oil can't fix. See how fast that was? If you're quick enough, it won't burn you. That's horrible advice. Yeah, it's moving. There it goes. So now we just need to take this off. There it goes. Okay, I got it. I got it moving. I know what'll fix this.
Of course.
Look how easy it makes that. Now watch, this is spring loaded, so mind your peepers. Okay, hot stuff. Okay. So, Dan, the other thing I want to do is I'm going to knock these tiny rivets off here, and I'm going to pull this plate. I'm going to get that plate cleaned up, and then after everything's powder coated, I'll put that plate back on. Grab a razor blade. I'm going to cut around the edge because they spray painted over it a little bit. So I'm just going to cut around the edge, and that should help it pop off. Cool. All I have to do now is pressure wash it, knock those bearing cups out. It's ready to go to powder coat. Okay, and we're back. So it's been about 3 months since we started this project, and well, Dan, give them a little taste of what's happened over the last few months since we started this project. I could tell because it's pretty slippy. Does it look like this?
Yeah.
We're like a mint green.
It's more mint.
Ooh, beef stick. Thank you. Give me the camera, Dan. You're
Fine.
fired.
There we go.
Hippity hoppity, hippity hopping over hill and dale.
Yeah. See? A lot going on. Whew, so where are we? The frame is back from powder coat. Oh, check this out, dude. I totally screwed up. I didn't notice. Look, we have a broken off bolt here. Ruh-roh. I totally missed that before sending it out to powder coat because I would have really liked to have fixed that before the frame got powder coated. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to get my taps and I'm going to go through and tap all the holes, clean that stuff up, and then we're going to start putting this bike together, which is going to be fun because I haven't really looked at any of this stuff in the last couple months, so I don't even remember what we have or what we have to do.
Oh, it's gonna be like a
It's like we're
discovery.
yeah. So we're halfway through the video and it's like we're relearning everything that's happened. We'll get this. It'll be fine. Okay, what did I say I want to do? My taps.
Oh, taps.
This is one of the projects that's been happening here in the meantime. Turbo Hayabusa engine rebuild. It's just a small project, tiny
Just really small.
little project. Don't show them this project, Dan.
Don't show them this. Oh, let all this out.
Okay, so now we go through and we tap some holes.
Oh, you're gonna get it. You'll find. Punch that powder coat right out.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it's a lot of people ask after you get a frame powder coated, like, well, what do you do with the bolt holes and stuff? You just run a tap through them. And honestly, I think that's one of the most satisfying parts about this. I like it. I don't remember why, but this side here is threaded and this side isn't. That's kind of interesting. Guess we'll figure out why when we're to that point getting this thing together. I keep a towel handy, keep this thing clean. So nice and white. Keep getting fingerprints all over it. Okay, all that stuff is done. Next step is let's put the steering head bearing races in, get steering head bearings settled, and then I don't know what'll be next after that because I forget where we're at. So we're gonna get everything out and see what we have. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this up in here with a little emery cloth, and then that's where the bearing race is gonna sit. I'm gonna do the same on the bottom side of the frame. We're gonna knock those bearings in. How's that look, Dan? Add a little extra heat to this side of it because the backbone of the frame's coming in and mounting there. So that's like a heat sink pulling heat away. So I add a little extra heat to that area. All right.
All right.
The frame's ready now, so we're gonna set that aside for a little bit, grab the forks, start getting that stuff ready, and then, we're gonna start putting this thing together. Oh my. Yeah. So, what do we got here? Okay, we're gonna set those aside for meow. Let's address what we have going on here. And we're gonna wanna pull that bottom bearing, this bottom bearing here. Get this cleaned up a little. For my puller, I gotta pop this cage off, pull that off, and that'll leave me with the inner race. My puller will come down, clamp on that inner race, and I can pull it off. So, I cut this cage. Right into my thumb.
What'd you do?
Put this
That's good.
right into my thumb. Good news is it went right between my nail and my finger, so it didn't puncture my finger.
That hurts.
And then these get screwed in here. I think finger tight will be enough to hold these in place. We'll see. See how this is, see how it's pulling the bearing off? I wonder what else, where's the top clamp? I have no idea. I put all this stuff on a shelf months ago.
Somewhere between all the Busa parts.
Yeah, I just filled it in with Busa parts.
That's the real reason why you got to put this together, so you can save up space.
Need more room. That, and it's getting to be race season. I want a fun little bike to ride. Pretty sure I have a new linkage. Look.
What? What is that?
Snake skin.
Ooh.
Yo.
Something slithered up in there and died.
Gonna make me some boots. Well, now I don't want to go digging in the rest of there.
Oh, but you might be able to make a snakeskin seat.
Okay, so I do have stuff coming for the shock, I do believe. So this is all gonna get redone. This needs to be cleaned up. I have bearings to put in here. This should get cleaned up. I'd like to clean and paint that black. Yeah, we got a box full of parts. I believe we got pretty much the makings of a motorcycle in here. I believe, so again, we did this earlier in the video, kind of went through everything, but I'm rediscovering it again for the second time.
Do you have more to say about it this time?
It looks like a lot more work this time than it did the first time. Greg is gonna have his work cut out for him.
Oh, Greg does.
He doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna let Dan tell him.
You always do that to me. I always have to have the hard conversations with Greg.
I know, he likes you better than he likes me. Okay, well, we gotta get some work done. All right, these things are fresh out of the oven. Put them in the oven to get the moisture off of them after I give them a bath in soap and water. Hit them with a little of my degreaser here yet, and that's gonna flash off pretty quick. I always like to do a two-step process when I'm cleaning this stuff for paint, and I do an organic wash with like Dawn dish soap and water, and then I come back with the chemical grease and wax remover, spray that on, let it dry off, and then it's time for paint. Super light coat here. This is just to get a little paint on it to help with that adhesion. first coat, you barely want to cover it. You still want to see some of the material sticking through. Then the coats are going to get progressively heavier. But for the first coat, just a light little bit, just get some droplets on there, and that helps with the chemical adhesion. See, look at this. You can still see the underneath. Okay, first coat's done. Now we set the timer and let that do its thing for 5 minutes.
Supervisor done.
And while that's drying, I'm just gonna dance. All right, I want to start putting stuff on the frame, and I gotta get the steering stem bearing on, boop, 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 and then that gets driven down on, and then we can bring the frame in and start getting stuff bolted to the frame. That is gonna be exciting.
I love it.
So this isn't quite working the way I wanted. I don't have the right bushing to slam that bearing home. So we're gonna make one. This is how you get tetanus. I can't tell what's what. Let's go magnet fishing.
You got this, Craig.
I think I can make it work. It's not gonna get it down all the way. We'll take this. I'm gonna knock that edge off there a little bit. Then that'll sit in nicely. Doesn't need to be pretty, just needs to knock that lip off. So we'll get that bearing packed up. Work this grease in between the inner race and the outer cage till it starts coming out the top. So you know you have it good and packed. That wasn't messy at all. Now the trick is going to be to stop hitting this before that other bearing race gets stuck on the taper. I want to keep checking that race. Okay, we are solid. There it goes. Maybe I'm going to keep that in my little bag of tricks for next time. Now let's pack this other bearing. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
When in doubt, grease it.
That's right. When in doubt, grease it out. This comes up in like that. This goes down. And then our seal. Like that. And then this locks all that in, I do believe. But that should be straight for now. Oh man, that's satisfying, huh? There we go. I think that just sits down on top of that. We should have a nut and a washer for on top of there. Let's see if we can find that. Oh, here, I put some stuff in here. Yo, this stuff's like all sizzling.
It's a nice little witch's brew you got going on in there.
Look at that. It's really cleaning this stuff up nicely. Yeah, these are the exhaust flanges. These were just, I mean, nothing but rust. It's working its way through.
Now they're a little bit less rust.
A little bit less rust, a little bit less rust.
What do you have in there?
I found a bag of hardware in the bin of parts we got.
I don't know, what's the gunk in there?
It's a rust remover, Evapo Rust.
Oh, it's Evapo Rust, okay.
Well, this is actually the Rust-Oleum. Okay, so I think that's our nut, but I think we need to come up with a washer. I don't remember, did I tell the story how this all came to be? Like the kick shaft broke on the motor, so that broke.
Clearly.
The kids wanted to take the bike apart, and they asked Dad, can you take the bike apart? And he said yes. So they took the bike all apart and threw it in a box and bags. So that's where we're at. That's why I'm kind of just going
And then they gave up.
Yeah, I don't know if they were ever gonna fix it. They just wanted to take it apart. Oh, there's that could be our washer right there. So yeah, I'm just kind of finding the parts as I go, because let's face it, man, we've all been those kids taking stuff apart in the garage. We knew it was never going back together. Like a glove. Hey, love it when a plan comes together. Okay, there we go. That's a thing. Okay, so what else can we add here? So that's gonna go there, and that's gonna go there. And I believe I saw the bolts. Yeah, not in that bag. Dan, am I missing a, there it is. So we have that stuff. I'm gonna set these in that green juice for a little bit, see if it cleans them up. Okay, they start fizzing. When you put them in, yeah, look, they started fizzing. That's some reaction, you know it.
We should get a dedicated rust removal cauldron.
Yeah, I'm like mesmerized because look, this stuff here has been sitting in now for a while, so it's not activating as much. Some still is, but the fresh ones that we just threw in, it's going to town on them.
It smells way more potent than Evapo Rust, I'll tell you that.
It does, doesn't it? Delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna hold tight on them for a few minutes. Okay, Dan, do you remember how these go? So that's gonna go there. Do we see that piece that goes through here to hold this on? All right, Dan, we need more pieces. Let's look here. This is an axle. There, that's what we need. Yeah, that looks like that's cauldron material there, my friend. Let's watch it fizz. Let's take these out while we're here. Clean them up nicely. Okay, so I need to figure out foot peg hardware and what holds that on. Might have to look in the parts book for that. See what kind of hardware goes on here. All right, Dan. Looks like we're looking for 2 bolts. All right, let's look in here. These are my 2 best guesses. Maybe rinse them off and see. I'm gonna put a washer on there. It's gonna go here like this. And then I'm gonna need to get a bolt for there. This thing's gonna start looking like a motorcycle. All right, now that'll go in. So brake pedal's gonna come in. It's throwing me off because of the way the bike's leaning. It's close. So I gotta get the bolt in because it has to sit in the trough of this.
And the bolt's not going in.
Doesn't like the O-ring I put in is what's going on. So the bolt has to go through this clamp here and see when I put the bolt through how it sticks up into this recess or into this hole. So that needs to sit into that valley on that shaft. The bolt needs to sit in here. So I'm trying to squeeze it because I put this O-ring in instead of a seal. So I was trying to squeeze everything that I could get the bolt through, but it was just not quite enough. You know, it's good when you have to use carpentry tools.
Crush your O-ring for a while.
Just like my dreams.
Dang, Greg. Does it look good?
Yeah.
You won't have to take it off?
Nope.
You sure?
Nope.
Next time on The Bearded Mechanic, Craig removes stuff that he really doesn't want to.
I think we already did that episode.
I'm gonna do something I don't wanna do, and that is tear apart this bottom end. Because I know it doesn't need to come apart, but you guys think it does. So let's just do it.
All right, so that's cool, that's cool. You need to get a bolt for in there.
This shop looks like such a mess right now.
Oh my gosh, dude.
There's just boxes everywhere.
That's what happens when we have 6 projects going on.
I thought this was our 5th. Wait, how many projects we got going on?
I don't
We
even
have 6?
I don't know, man. I don't want to count.
We got the CX, we got the Geico bike.
Let's talk about that Geico bike for a second.
Oh, okay.
We're in a bit of a spot where if we don't get some help with that thing, I don't know what we're going to be able to do because I am not smart enough, nor do I have the equipment or technology to rewrite that fuel map to make that TPS sensor work. So fingers crossed.
That sounded like a lot of jargon, and sure, everyone's just thinking, yeah, good luck with that.
We need help. We need help. So the oil runs up through here, and this comes into the front, and then the air and everything blowing over it helps cool the engine. Greg cleaned this up a little bit with some WD-40 and elbow grease. I don't know, I'm just kind of guessing here at the moment. Guess I could go look. Here, let's go look, see. I want to see how that goes on.
Okay.
Okay. This goes here. And then I think this, there should be a little rubber holder, and that goes there. Okay, so the problem was, I didn't like the way this was sitting, this spark plug wire. So I'm moving it around in this housing. I think I'm gonna point it towards the back, not towards the front. If we do it this way, that should accomplish everything we want it to. All right, this is shaping up. It's shaping up to be all right. Do I have any little bits in here we could pop on somewhere? Any other little bits? That's chain roller, chain block, chain gun. We gotta order some parts, Dan. And I think we have to wait for other parts to come in.
We have so many parts though. All right, get to ordering.
Awesome! I don't even know where we're at anymore. Parts started rolling in for this bike. So let's get them up here, see what we have. And then we gotta tear into the engine. We got a lot to do. Dude, this is gonna be fun. New seat cover. I think those are decals. Chain sliders, cam chain. I always want to replace cam chains when you're in there. Oil filter, swing arm spacer, spark plugs, manifold O-ring, right? Boom. Nailed it. Rear fender. Air filter. Oh, you know what? I don't have an air filter cage to go in here. So I gotta make a note of that. And I either need to find one or I need to design one and 3D print it. Okay, that's a thing. Got a chain, front brake pads, shock boots, shifter, grips, another oil filter. Never have too many of those. Side panels, front fender, cables.
Do you know where you are yet?
Now I know where we are. Should we let the people in YouTube land in on a little secret? Sometimes we have these projects and it goes weeks, months, days, minutes, more towards the month side sometimes between working on it. So I get to rediscover it a few times. I'm excited. Dude, I love getting parts. So we have all of this stuff. I feel like this is a lot of like the buttoning up kind of things, you know, the new fenders and the grips and the stickers and the doodads. We need to figure out what's going on inside the engine. I know for sure we have a kickstart shaft that's broken, and that's why this bike got taken apart. Let's get this over here. Oh, here, what else do we got? Jeez, I'm laying parts. I'm laying parts everywhere. Engine seal kit. Gaskets. Okay, so that's some engine stuff there. There's the skid plate. We want to get that cleaned out. Let's see what we got here. I got it, Dan.
I know.
Okay, so that's ugly. Good thing we got another one of these shifters because that's ugly. All right, cool. So we have a broken kickstart shaft. So we got to pull this apart. These parts are no longer available. So I had to find a used set on eBay. I got that done. But I want to know what's going on here in the top end because if we're pulling, the bike looks so nice. I can't just put this engine back in the way it is. So I want to pull this top end apart real fast. I want to see what size pistons in it. Maybe we'll go big bore. We'll see. But this all needs to be cleaned up and whatever to go back into the bike so it looks real nice. We'll pull this apart quick like bunny.
Quick like the bunny, let's go.
Okay, let me grab my bunny gun. Oh, 10 mil, that's handy. Yep, that's that O-ring I just showed you, right in there. This O-ring gets forgotten a lot on the head side of your intake track. A lot of these will have an O-ring, and this O-ring gets flattened and hard and brittle, and it stops sealing real well, and it can cause an air leak, and it can really screw with the bike. So don't forget to replace those O-rings. It is an overlooked deal. Let's pull this valve cover off. Okay, that didn't work. These are tight. It didn't spin. It spun the socket inside the thing. it started to strip it, is what I'm saying. Why? Doesn't make sense. We have some corrosion on these, but these should be coming free. Dude. Geez, they're only valve cover bolts. Ready? This is where I punch you in the face. No, it's just stripping. There was a little dirt in there. What the heck? Clean these holes out so we can get a good purchase in there. Those were clean. A little heat there. I'm gonna have to go torque bits here soon. Feels like it's moving. It's just stripping. Dude, this is gonna suck. That's 3 for, I'm 0 for 3. What the heck? What the heck?
You're gonna have to,
yo.
You're gonna have to vice it off.
That's gonna stink.
I'm gonna try and get the other one, see if that'll make you feel better.
Yeah, if I get one.
Ooh.
Man,
Satisfying sound.
satisfying. Don't do this with your good ratchets. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'm glad that they didn't take this motor, well, I'm definitely glad they didn't take this motor apart because they would have had, everything would have been broken. Broken bolts all over this thing.
Go, Craig, go.
Oh, it is not going. It's just gonna strip. Trashed. Now, I guess we see if we can hammer a Torx bit in there or vice grips. Vice grips it is. This is gonna suck. Oh my gosh, dude. I was like, Dan, let's just pull this top end real quick. It's not gonna take us long.
You did say that.
Dude.
Don't look at me like that, Craig. The chairs are over there.
That doesn't do a diddly squat thing at all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan's gonna put a video here.
It's so like rusty and corroded. I feel like you should be able to take one of those bigger sizes and just like really jam it in there.
I mean, it's getting in there. Okay, you got it?
Oh!
Nice. This is mechanically at its finest is what this is.
Oh yeah! You just gotta think more destructive.
Yep. That was easy. I told you this was gonna be easy.
Easy.
We have a serious issue.
What's that?
Our cam's wiped out.
Wiped out.
Wiped out. Look, see how rough that is?
I hear how rough it is.
That cam's shot. And that means our head, good chance our head is also shot. This is where it's running on the valve cover. I don't know, maybe, I mean, that's not horrible. I think we can get away with that, but I don't know what this head's gonna look like. I guess we pull the cam, pull the head. That's a bummer. Engine as a whole, I think is gonna be fine, but we are gonna have to find some engine pieces. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I mean, let's be honest, a 1986 XR 250, 1986 XR anything, probably has about 1.5 million miles on it by now. I mean, you can put this together and this motor will probably run. These things will run forever and ever and ever, amen.
Because it's a Honda.
Because it's a Honda. That's not a good sign. It's loose, but it's not, well, oh man. I think I figured out why it was loose. It's stripped. Look at that. Look what I found, Dan. They're the threads that belong inside the cylinder.
Well, at least they came out really clean.
Right, that whole
Clean cut.
that hole will be nice and stripped. Getting better by the bolt, I tell you what. Okay, here's the
What new amazing things do we run into besides me helping you accomplish this?
Good job, Dan. See how this cam journal is dished like this? And it's all rough and ugly. That's not good. That's no bueno. We need a camshaft. I don't know if we're going to be able to save the head. I'm going to try. But we're doing this. We're doing this to get to the piston. So we still need to get to the piston. Okay, we should have a washer on here because it's in the oil area. So we have a sealing washer there. We have a sealing washer there. Right, I have everything on. Interesting. We're getting close to the head gasket going. Okay, so we got to see how this will all clean up. Got to get that cam journal checked. What do we have for a piston? It actually doesn't look bad. Like there is not a lot of carbon buildup on this piston. There it goes. The cylinder wall is not horrible. There's still crosshatch on there. I think a good hone will clean that out. The piston looks good. I'm going to give it a measure and probably just do rings. I need to find those brushes. I need to get this thing clean. Yo, check this out. You guys remember how this was all chewed up from the chain? Look at that repair job, man. Like, that is fantastic.
Magical. Yo, welders are just alchemists.
He really knocked that out of the park. I'm just letting that soak in some degreaser and water because this is really caked on there and I gotta scrub it. Okay, so we got the head off. I got to see the piston and what kind of shape everything is in here. I'm gonna finish tearing this down and I gotta order some parts because, you know, camshaft's wiped out and that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna work at that. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan's gonna put a video, where do you want them, Dan? Here and here? Check them out. I know you're gonna love them. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.